Okay, here's one more self-portrait exercise of the method SPEX, which is the character representation exercise. It is extremely liberating because it's about exploring the multiplicity of our identity, like being somebody else. And this is something that artists of all times have often done. I mean, like, for example, Picasso, he was like trying to be everything, yeah, and experience being everything, especially when we're young and when our identity is under construction. Although I believe, and for myself, my identity is under construction all the time. So, and I see my identity as always evolving. And I see as human identity as always evolving, especially when there are changes, important changes in our lives. And I think that COVID-19 has certainly pushed us for important changes, all of us at the same time. And therefore, this is a very powerful moment. Anyway, the character representation exercise is about choosing characters, one character at a time, but you could actually do a whole project about this and represent many, many different people at the same time, like artists like Morimura Yasumasa. He's a Japanese artist, photographer. He has depicted himself as Marilyn Monroe, as Mona Lisa, and like being like he has put himself into very important paintings of all times. Anyway, also Cindy Sherman. Cindy Sherman has represented herself in many different characters, and the Clown series is amazing. Her latest works are so powerful. You should check her Instagram account. So it's about choosing one character and becoming that character. So it is about acting, but it is not so much about looking like the character, but feeling like the character. So first of all, okay, it's good to look a little bit like the character if it's not too complicated. Well, first of all, the choice of the character. So it is good that the character is very different from your usual daily self. Yeah. So if it's a different gender, if it's a completely different person, and I have often in my workshops asked people in the collaborative self-portrait sessions when we're working on the character representation, I have often asked people to represent terrible, terrible characters, like really the worst possible, because it's liberating. Why? Because we believe that certain characters are sort of not human, like Adolf Hitler, for example. Like, he's not human. He's so horrible, he's so terrible that he's not human. And that's not true. It means that we as humans have the potential to become that sort of human being, and and to do what he did. You can represent Donald Trump, for example, especially if you hate Donald Trump. I guess that those who listen to my videos probably do hate Donald Trump. Anyway, you can represent any but really very, very bad character. But of course you can also represent extremely good, in your perception, characters. Saints or whatever, Joan of Arc, I don't know. So when you have chosen that character, you read a little bit about her life, about their lives, and you try to choose a certain situation which you will be representing. So you will be representing not the whole situation with the other characters, but that character in that specific situation with the emotions that the character could have been feeling in that situation. So, for example, Joan of Arc, it could be the moment of her trial, yeah, when she was condemned to death, or the moment when she is actually about to be burned in the fire, yeah. So once you have decided where to take the pictures, because of course it counts, you know, where you're going to do the pictures. I mean, of course I'm using the black background, but again, it doesn't mean that you have to use the black background. That is my artistic choices, you know. But you can do it. You can do it in the woods. You can do it in the countryside. You can do it wherever you choose to do it. Of course, when you choose the place, choose the light, make it as beautiful as possible, because all these exercises are to be done as beautiful as possible. Then, so once you have chosen the place and you have chosen what you are wearing, your clothing, and eventually makeup, and you have decided everything, so all the aesthetic choices, the camera is set up, and the frame is what you have chosen, and the light is what you have chosen, and all the rest, so the visual parts are all done, and you are in front of the camera with your remote control in your hand. Then you forget about all the aesthetic choices and you concentrate on yourself, on that character, on that situation, on those emotions that the character could have been feeling according to your own perception, and trying to express those emotions, but at the same time behaving like the body of the character, and the way he or she keeps their body and holds their body together. You try to imitate that because you're acting and you're pretending to be that character, and perhaps you are trying to express those emotions. The emotions exercise will be useful in that situation. So pick up the instructions of the emotions exercise, but at the same time you will be always listening to yourself. How am I feeling doing this while I'm doing this? Yeah, because this will give the reality to the pictures and to your situation. So in the end, you're going to mix together the character and their emotions, and you and your own emotions while you're doing this. You know, how do you feel when you're representing, who knows, Joan of Arc or Adolf Hitler? And therefore, it's a mixture of the character and yourself, yeah? So you always listen to how you feel while you're doing this, but at the same time, you are behaving like the character, you're moving your body like the character, you know, and you're talking like the character, you're saying the words like the character, or you're expressing the emotions just like the character while you are listening to yourself, yeah? Yeah, so that's the instructions, and I will now show you a series of self-portraits of mine while I was representing characters without really knowing about the character representation exercise. So all the exercises of this method have been created from my own intuitive experience, yeah? So, yeah, I hope you take amazing pictures.